All right. We are live again. We're not going to have
Again,
any technical difficulties this time.
fingers crossed.
I know now that I said it, as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
What am I doing? Cool, man. Well, thank you so much for rescheduling. I know we only got a couple minutes in last time before everything shut down. I actually ordered a new computer after that because I was so annoyed. But it's like, I don't know. Do you believe that like Mac products, Apple products, like they end up slowing them down over time? Do you think that's really a thing?
I mean, I can see the argument for it for sure. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist about it, but I'm like this laptop I have never had one issue with. And then it hit 4 years old and it was like everything crashes, everything's bad. It's just, I don't know.
So
What do you
the
guys think? Tell me in the comments.
yeah, so, I mean the MacBook that I have right now, I got in 2021. The one that I had before that was from 2013. And I only got it because it was old. And I was like, I'll get a new one. But I haven't I didn't have any issues with that. I haven't any issues with this one. Now my phone, I mean, that's a different story. So I think maybe the iPhone, knowing that people are on the phones a lot more or rely on phones a lot more than computers. So
Yeah.
um,
Cool, man. All
yeah,
right. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us today. Again, today we're going to learn about the White Mountains in New Hampshire with Jeremy Wirths, who is on the STR Savvy STR Agents team here as an agent in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. Jeremy, tell us about yourself and tell us about New Hampshire.
yeah, myself in real estate. That's what I do. I been an agent since 2019. Investor. I've got a STR. Just focused on the STRs now. Got STRs myself. I co-host. Have a boutique hotel in the White Mountains. Yeah, as far as New Hampshire, the White Mountains were a national forest, 880,000 acres, about 2.5 hour drive from Boston. So that's our biggest metro that we have our catchment from, both investors and those that visit. The White Mountain National Forest gets about 5 million visitors a year, so not the largest, but a good amount for sure. And yeah, it's kind of anchored by, there's two towns. There's Conway on the east side of the forest, and then Lincoln on the west side. Those are kind of the two anchor towns. They're very different. Conway is very well known. USA Today yesterday just announced that they were the number one ski town in the nation,
Wow.
as voted by their reader poll. Yeah, every year Conway is on the top 10 list, and it got back to the top this past year, or this year,
Wow.
I should say. Commercialized, has all big box stores, Lowe's, Home Depot, tons of hotels. Last I knew, there was a moratorium on hotel rooms there because they had 1,000 to be built in the pipeline that had yet to be actually built. Within the White Mountain National Forest, there are 8 ski mountains. Within Conway, you've got Cranmore. Just north of there, you've got Attitash and the town of Bartlett. And then just north of there, you've got Wildcat and Black Mountains in the town of Jackson. Over in Lincoln, Lincoln is more of your more traditional mountain town.
Mm-hmm.
One main street has local shops, local restaurants. There's a couple big flag hotels, but not nearly as many as in Conway. There is one ski mountain within Lincoln. It's called Loon. And then Woodstock's kind of the other side of 93. Highway 93 is a straight shot up from Boston to get up there. You got Woodstock there. And kind of the third little area within the Whites, as I kind of break out the area, is Franconia Notch area. So just north of Lincoln by 20 minutes. You've got the 3 towns of Franconia, Bethlehem, and Carroll. Franconia Notch is well known for its hiking and Cannon Ski Mountains there as well. And Bretton Woods, another major ski resort in the state and in the White Mountains, is in Carroll. And that ski resort and Stowe are the only two ski resorts in New England that are generally every year on a top 10 ski resort list in the country. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's really cool. So what does seasonality look like?
Yeah, so seasonality, summertime's peak, like a lot of places, and then dip down. It's July and August peak. Beginning of September, it will. Everybody's going back to school, so it'll drop off a little bit. Weekends are still strong, and then first 2 weeks of October are incredibly strong, very popular for leaf peeping. After that, that second weekend, so Columbus Day weekend, is really kind of the end of the rush. Generally speaking, we get into what I like to call brown season, where depending on the weather, you can still get a lot of people coming up to hike in the weekend, but everything's brown, nothing's pretty. And then Christmas, the week of Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, is generally the ramp up for the beginning of ski season. Families will come up for spend the week of Christmas in the mountains, get some skiing in, and then January, February, into March. If Mother Nature cooperates, maybe the beginning of April. You've got your ski season, so weekends are generally very strong. The last 2 weeks of February are school vacation here in New England. For Maine and Massachusetts, it's the third week in February. New Hampshire, we have the fourth week in February. And everybody takes family ski vacations those 2 weeks. So revenues are very strong those 2 weeks. Some places it's the largest, some of the largest producing weeks for them in the year.
Wow.
And then we get into mud season once the ski mountains close down. So April, May weekend bookings will start to pick up. People getting into making the shift from skiing into hiking, and then the unofficial beginning of summer or tourist season, as we call it, is Memorial Day weekend, and then June is ramp up back into peak season in July and August.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. So in terms of what type of houses people are coming and staying in, like, is this big families? Are bigger houses better or smaller houses better? What does that look like? And I think you have like a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah, I made up a little spreadsheet that I can share. But generally speaking, if I can get it to work, can you see it?
Oh yeah, hold on. There we go. Oh, my computer's starting to freeze, so.
Don't do it.
I can be real careful.
I can talk through it. Oh, there we go. So I went through and took all the data from AirDNA. Like I said, I broke down the whites into kind of the two anchor towns, and then that third little area. Took all the data from AirDNA, grabbed the average sales for the bedroom counts in the entire area, got the ROIs, and then the number of listings per AirDNA. And then, so that's the market as a whole. And then I went and I just grabbed the luxury upscale with at least 5.5 stars for their reviews. And you can see across the board, the whole area, the best returns are going to be either, and the guest avatars fit. It's either couples coming up to the whites to have a weekend getaway, or it's families. And that's generally who the two major guest avatars are. And then you can see here the Lincoln Woodstock. The ROIs aren't quite as high on anything above the one bed. And then the Franconia Bethlehem, which I think in the numbers here kind of show that I think that's kind of a hidden gem within the state, although maybe not anymore since we're putting it out there. But It's yeah. So this area that I spoke of, its proximity. You buy in any one of those three towns, you can be on any of the three ski mountains within 30 minutes. You can be within the two kind of mountain towns of Lincoln and Littleton within that same time frame, and any of the like any major mountain that you want to hike in the White Mountains, you can access within half an hour for the most
Wow.
part, unless you get to the northern side of the presidentials. But yeah, the amount of activities that are accessible from that area are quite abundant.
That's really cool. So it looks like you can get a 1 bedroom. Is that like a condo? Is that more of like a cottage? What does that look like?
Yeah, these are cottages. These were all single family. I didn't include condos at all in these figures.
Wow, that's really cool. So there are, cottages out there that you can get in the hundreds. It looks like the average sales price for a 1 bedroom is like 164.
Yeah, these were, there weren't a ton. So this sales were over the average over the last year. Not a ton of volume comes on the market comes on in this market here, or this area, I should say. But they do come about for sure.
Okay, cool. Which is your favorite out of the three, Conway, Lincoln, or Bethlehem?
Oh, geez. I would say, I mean, it really depends on, like, for a straight investment, I would say this area here, for sure.
Okay.
You've got, just for, like I was just saying, the proximity to so much is a lot more abundant here than elsewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have, you don't have the accessibility to as much like commercial stuff that you do in the Conway Attitash area. But you have a lot more like outdoor type stuff that is more
And it
readily
looks like
accessible.
one of the reasons why too is probably the price, right? That's what actually makes it a better return on investment, is it's more affordable.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's not nearly as popular. So
Yeah.
you
Because
see
those
100K price difference there.
Yeah, well, and even more at the 6+ bedroom,
Yeah. Yeah, 5-bedroom kind of being the sweet spot for both markets, 813 versus 875 there, but you can still. And then Lincoln, the Lincoln market's it's very condensed there.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of housing stock in a small area.
Yeah.
But I like Woodstock, and Woodstock was actually on AirDNA's top 25 for this year.
Interesting.
I think it was this year, maybe it was last year, but yeah, I think they were 24 out of 25, just barely made it. But because it's, it's essentially a secondary market to Lincoln.
Mhm.
To be in Lincoln, you're paying to play, whereas Woodstock, you're 10 minutes away, but not paying nearly as much. And there's
Yeah.
actually, right now, there's a couple fantastic properties. There's a 7-bedroom and a 6-bedroom in Woodstock on the market right now. That would be fantastic STRs.
Awesome. So people should book a call with you, which is savvy.realty/Jeremy, like as soon as possible if they want to pick those up this weekend.
That's right. Get it before the end of the year for those tax benefits.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Is it okay if I pull this spreadsheet off?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
'Cause I have some cool stuff too I was looking at on AirDNA, and I think and this is what crashed everything last time, so let me know. Can you see AirDNA there yet?
Yeah.
Oh, it is good? Okay, awesome. I mean, Lincoln, and this was where purchase prices were a little bit higher, right?
Right.
But, overall, I saw really good numbers for Lincoln. Annual revenues up 7%, occupancy rate was up 3%, average daily rates were up 2%. This is across the board. Overall, 168 listings over there. I think this is really like an untapped or almost like an emerging market, right? It's probably been around for a while, but in terms of like the number of listings that are over there, there just aren't that many. And there's only been a 2% increase in the number of listings year over year. So saturation is just not happening over there.
Do you have any filters on at all?
I
There
do
should be
actually. Yep,
more.
yep,
Yeah,
yep. You're
there's some.
right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say there should be a bunch more out there.
Okay, so now we're reset, so things look a little bit different. Yet, okay, so we're looking at everything 2,500. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. But still, all the numbers are good. +4%, +2%, +1%. And you know the rental growth in the last 3 years, 9%. So, are you guys seeing? How do you feel about that? Is that saturated? Is that well in line with what should be?
Yeah, so I think so. Lincoln itself is quite saturated, but the Thornton, Woodstock, as I mentioned, we're starting to see a lot of spillover into Woodstock because of how much is actually in Lincoln. Lincoln. Last year, I went to a symposium that New Hampshire Housing put on, and one of the topics they covered was short-term rentals. And they did a study across the entire state, and Lincoln actually had the highest concentration of rentals per housing capita in the entire state.
Interesting.
They were sitting at 43%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Even outside of that, though, it looks like booking demand year over year is up 8%.
Yeah, I mean it's a very strong market. Like it's funny. When I've spoken to some of the investors on calls, it's I bring up the point that the more people that I talk to that are from the area or know the area, it's either you were brought up and raised in the Lincoln market or the Conway market, and there's no swapping. So there really is like a strong demand for each.
Wow.
It's almost like Red Sox versus Yankees. It's either exit 32 or Lincoln, or you got Conway. So,
And it looks like there was a small dip last year. Any insight, or was that just kind of weird travel trends?
I think it was just a weird travel trend. I mean, it was. I know people that are operating in the market, and they had strong demand.
Yeah, I mean, went from let's see, August 2023 did 7.5 million last year. August 2024, 10 million in revenue this year. That's a crazy difference.
Yeah.
And it looks like about half of that is in what they're calling apartments, which is typically condos or anything like that. So is this a big condo market?
It's more like townhomes. So you've got the one main road that goes through the town of Lincoln. You have the mountain on one side, and then there's a bunch of communities on the other side of the road, and they're all like side by side townhomes for the most part. So a majority of the properties that are online are kind of classified as such.
Yeah, got it. Okay, interesting. I think this was a house that you had. This house looks so familiar. I don't know if it's something you sent out recently or what, but I feel like this is so familiar, this house.
The outside looks like one that I did send out, but it wasn't that one. No.
Interesting. Okay, so what does it take to, have a super property here that can do, let's say, 200,000 a year?
Yeah, so I think that's one of the opportunities in the market is, there's no true, there are properties that have, very high revenues, but there are there are very few super properties as far as, having professional design and decor and offering, all the proper amenities, whether it be a game room or a movie theater, all the outdoor. I don't know of any properties that have, a geodome. Like I know you have in some of your properties. Very few have saunas, barrel saunas, hot tub. Hot tub is, and most mountain markets is, the number 2 desired amenity behind mountain views.
Or like oxygen.
Yeah. Or
doors and windows,
Yeah, outdoor fire pits, like that.
Like, this is a cool one, but they have so much room on this lawn. They could have done something really over the top here and yeah, it just doesn't look like they're really maximizing, and this house doesn't look like anything special here. Like this is a nice photo, sure. This
Mhm.
property is doing 191,000 a year, basically because it's a 6-bedroom with Wayfair furniture in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and like I said, a lot of the investors that we work with that, are experienced in creating super properties. Like I think there's a lot of this. I think this entire market is untapped as far as that potential.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you have nice houses there, almost like
Right.
Maine, right?
Mhm.
There's really nice houses, kind of nice, like modern mountain lodges, which for some reason we don't have any of in Asheville. But the opportunities there in the like housing supply, it looks like, but you just need really great investors to go there and invest in great amenities and design. It seems
Right.
like.
Yep.
That's really cool. Okay, what else should we look at here? So we looked at Lincoln. What else is a good one? You want to look at Conway?
Yeah. I mean, Conway's the most popular one. And there's a good amount. Like there's like you can see, that the number between the two markets, the number of listings is about the same. But the
Yeah.
Conway market is a I would say it's much larger, so it's not nearly as condensed.
hmm
Um,
And these 6+ bedrooms, I mean, it really looks like this is where you make the most money at.
yep. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one right there with the indoor pool on the right, that one's actually for sale right now.
So this one, how much is it?
1.675.
1.675. It's already doing 275,000. This is cool. I'm glad we saw this. So, like this, hold on, it'll load here. This is doing 275,000 right there. Just imagine if like the walls weren't mustard yellow, or if everything in the room wasn't mustard
Yeah,
yellow.
yeah. It's like just about 180-degree panoramic view. It comes with 23 acres. It's not subdividable because there's not enough road frontage, but you have 23 acres to put up a tree house with a driveway to it, or trails, or create like a mountain bike trail system or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
such a
so much
beautiful view.
opportunity. Yeah, and there are 3 bedrooms, 3 king bedrooms with en suites. Like there's just, again, I go back to the opportunity and the potential that's there. Is
Yeah, I mean, there's so like, look at this. Like, there's carpet in the bedrooms, and it's doing almost 300 grand a year. So just imagine, like, they couldn't even hide the wires on the TV. So
yeah.
if you really came in and did this property the right way, I mean, what do you think the real? But is this like could do 400,000?
I mean, yeah, I would believe so. Yeah,
Because
because
there are others that are doing that much,
mhm,
But with the indoor pool, that's really rare. I've not seen
right.
anything like that over there with that feature.
There's only a handful. There aren't very many.
Yeah.
And for those rainy day activities, um, it really, kind of seals the deal.
hmm That's really
Um,
cool.
it's also, I've toured it a few times, and in speaking with the list agent, the current owners, they've hosted, yoga retreats there, and other other kind of group events.
Wow, that's really cool. Yeah, some of these houses definitely remind me of like what they've got up in that main area as well.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, in terms of like the design and amenities and all that, and this is only 4-bedroom right here. Like just imagine if you could get that 6-bedroom, what the true potential is out there. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm not seeing any like super property esque properties here. I haven't seen a wall mural yet.
There are some, but there's not many.
Okay, that's really cool. All right, so what else do people need to know about the White Mountains in New Hampshire?
Um, yeah, so it's we've got outside of all, it's really a 4-season nature enthusiast kind of market. We've kind of already touched on the skiing, the hiking. The Saco River is very popular in the summertime for kayaking and tubing, just kind of floating down the river. It's very popular to just go grab a group of people and just float down I think it's like 5 miles or whatever, and have a cooler behind you, floating behind you, and just having a nice relaxing day on the river. There's Storyland, which is right in Bartlett, just north of Conway, which is a small amusement park. There's another one about 40 minutes north of there called Santa's Village. Mount Washington. So Mount Washington is the tallest mountain in New England. It's also the tallest mountain on the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, cool.
It is well known so it's very popular and it's known worldwide for having the world's worst weather. Back in 1930, I can't remember the year, 30 something, the highest ever wind speed was recorded there, 231 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the reason is that there are 3 jet streams that converge right over it. And you can go from 75 and sunny to 30 and snowing in a matter of 2 hours.
That's crazy. I feel like that's what happened this morning in Asheville. It was like a blizzard this morning, and then I went to go pick up my car from the dealership, and it was like 65. Everything was melted. I'm like, what's going on? Anyways,
yeah, it's the season in the mountains. So there was one day last summer in June that there were 30. I think it was 32 countries that were represented on the summit of Mount Washington.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so there's multiple ways to get up there. Whether you hike up, there's an auto road that you can drive up. There's a cog railway as well, so you can take from Conway all the way. There's a scenic railroad. You can take the steam cog railway up to the summit of Mount Washington. There's just and we here in New Hampshire, we don't have sales tax. And in Conway, there are, there's an outdoor outlet. So a lot of people will come for school shopping or Christmas shopping to save on taxes.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. So White Mountains in New Hampshire. Anything else anybody needs to know?
I can't think of anything. I mean, it's like I said, it's we're the preferred kind of playground for Northern New England. Yes, there are spots in Maine. Yes, there are spots in Vermont. But as far as the vastness and offerings, nothing can compete.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay. Cool, man. Let's see. Do we have any? Let me pop back in here and pull this AirDNA off here. Anybody have any questions for Jeremy? It doesn't look like we've got anything in the chat here. So what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just savvy.com or savvy.realty/Jeremy. It's the best way.
Awesome. Cool. They can schedule a call with you there. All right, man. Well, thanks. I'm glad that this actually we got all the way through here. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we did it. No technical difficulties.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We're going to shoot this out over email for everybody that's there. And thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right, guys.